The Oval Office, a symbol of American power, a place for diplomacy. It has witnessed countless historic moments where decisions that shaped the world were made. From the Cuban Missile Crisis to the signing of pivotal treaties, this room has been the epicenter of American influence. But on February 28, 2025, it became a battleground. A place where words were wielded like weapons, and every sentence carried the weight of nations. Donald Trump, twice elected and twice impeached former president, faced off against Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Both leaders, known for their strong personalities and unyielding stances, were now at odds in a high-stakes confrontation. The meeting was meant to solidify a crucial minerals deal, bolstering the U.S. Ukraine partnership against Russian aggression. This deal was seen as a linchpin in the strategy to counteract Russian influence in Eastern Europe. Instead, it exploded in a war of words, leaving the world stunned. What was supposed to be a diplomatic negotiation turned into a fiery exchange, with both leaders refusing to back down. Trump, known for his blunt pronouncements, accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III. His rhetoric was sharp, his tone unyielding, as he laid out his concerns about escalating tensions. His message was clear: seek compromise with Russia. He argued that without concessions, the world was on a path to inevitable conflict. Peace, he argued, required concessions. It was a pragmatic approach, one that he believed was necessary to avoid further bloodshed and chaos. Zelensky, a wartime leader who had stared down Putin's aggression, remained defiant. His resolve was unshaken, his commitment to his nation's sovereignty unwavering. He would not yield to threats or pressure. For Zelensky, the fight was not just about politics, but about the very survival of his country. The room crackled with tension. Every word, every gesture was loaded with significance, as the stakes could not have been higher. The cameras flashed, capturing every grimace, every interruption. The world was watching, and the pressure was palpable. This was not a meeting of minds but a clash of ideologies, a microcosm of a world on the brink. The ideological divide was stark, with each leader representing a different vision for the future. The world watched in disbelief as two leaders, once united against a common enemy, now stood divided by a chasm of mistrust and divergent visions for peace. The unity that once existed was now fractured, and the consequences of this division were unpredictable. The future of Ukraine, and perhaps the world, hung precariously in the balance. The outcome of this confrontation would have far-reaching implications, shaping the geopolitical landscape for years to come. The relationship between the United States and Ukraine has been a complex dance of shared interests and simmering tensions. Over the years, this partnership has seen numerous highs and lows, shaped by geopolitical shifts and internal political dynamics. The U.S., a global superpower, pledged support for Ukraine's sovereignty after the collapse of the Soviet Union. This commitment was not just about political support, but also involved significant military and economic aid. Ukraine, grappling with its newfound independence and a looming Russian threat, sought security guarantees from the West. The young nation was eager to establish itself on the global stage, free from Russian influence. The 2014 Russian annexation of Crimea and the ensuing war in Donbass marked a turning point. These events underscored the vulnerability of Ukraine and the aggressive posture of Russia. The U.S. provided military aid and imposed sanctions on Russia, aiming to curb its expansionist ambitions. This support was crucial for Ukraine, which was struggling to defend its territorial integrity. But the Trump presidency introduced an element of uncertainty. Trump's foreign policy often seemed unpredictable, causing anxiety among U.S. allies, including Ukraine. Trump's first impeachment trial centered on allegations that he withheld aid to Ukraine for personal political gain. This scandal not only rocked American politics, but also sent shockwaves through the U.S.-Ukraine relationship. The planned minerals deal was intended to be a reset, a symbol of renewed commitment. Both nations saw this as an opportunity to strengthen their economic ties and move past the controversies. Ukraine, rich in natural resources, sought economic partnership and investment. The country hoped that these investments would spur economic growth and reduce its dependency on Russia. The U.S., in turn, aimed to reduce Russia's leverage and secure access to critical minerals. This was part of a broader strategy to counter Russian influence in Europe and ensure energy security. However, the ghosts of past grievances lingered, casting a long shadow over the present. Historical mistrust and recent political scandals made it difficult to fully rebuild the partnership. Trump's public admiration for Putin and his questioning of NATO's relevance had sown seeds of doubt in Kiev. Ukrainian leaders were left wondering about the reliability of their American ally. The stage was set for a confrontation that would expose the fragility of the U.S. Ukraine partnership. As both nations navigated these turbulent waters, the future of their relationship remained uncertain, with many challenges yet to be addressed. Zelensky, a former comedian thrust onto the world stage by the horrors of war, has become a symbol of Ukrainian resilience. His journey from a television star to a wartime leader is nothing short of extraordinary. His unwavering stance and determination have galvanized not just his nation, but also the international community. His refusal to back down in the face of Russian aggression has earned him international acclaim. Zelensky's leadership has been marked by his ability to rally support from world leaders and to keep the plight of Ukraine in the global spotlight. He has consistently maintained that territorial concessions are not an option, arguing that appeasement only emboldens aggressors. His speeches often emphasize the importance of standing firm against tyranny and oppression. Zelensky's stance is rooted in history. He draws lessons from the past, understanding that giving in to demands can lead to greater conflicts. He has often drawn parallels between Putin's actions and the appeasement of Nazi Germany in the 1930s. By invoking these historical events, Zelensky underscores the dangers of repeating past mistakes. He argues that compromising with a dictator like Putin is a fool's errand, a dangerous gamble that will only lead to further aggression. Zelensky's defiance is a message to the world that Ukraine will not be easily subdued. In the Oval Office, Zelensky pushed back against Trump's calls for compromise. He stood firm, emphasizing that Ukraine's sovereignty is non-negotiable. He referenced the failed 2019 ceasefire agreement, brokered with the involvement of then Vice President J.D. Vance, as evidence that negotiations with Putin are futile. This agreement, which was supposed to bring highlighted the futility of negotiating with an aggressor who does not honor commitments. He argued that Russia only understands strength and that any concession would be interpreted as weakness. Zelensky's message is clear. Strength and unity are the only ways to deter further aggression. "We will not be bullied into submission," Zelensky reportedly told Trump. His words resonate with a nation determined to defend its freedom. "We will fight for every inch of our land." This unwavering resolve has become the cornerstone of Ukraine's resistance, inspiring not only his countrymen, but also supporters around the world. The meeting ended abruptly, the minerals deal unsigned. Zelensky, his face a mask of controlled fury, departed the White House early. The images of his departure broadcast around the world spoke volumes. The carefully constructed facade of U.S. Ukraine unity lay shattered. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Trump took to Truth Social, his preferred platform for pronouncements and diatribes, to denounce Zelensky's disrespect. He accused the Ukrainian leader of being ungrateful for U.S. support and of prioritizing war over peace. Zelensky, for his part, maintained a more diplomatic tone in public. He thanked the U.S. for its support in a carefully worded statement and suggested in a Fox News interview that the relationship could be salvaged. However, his frustration was palpable. He stressed the strong ties between the American and Ukrainian people, implicitly drawing a distinction between the two nations' leaders. The unsigned minerals deal, once a symbol of potential cooperation, became a casualty of the escalating war of words. The future of U.S.-Ukraine relations, already strained, now hung in the balance. The United States' reactions were swift and multifaceted. Initially, there was a wave of surprise and disbelief. Many couldn't fathom the rapid developments taking place. Soon after, analysts began dissecting the situation, trying to understand the implications. Public opinion was divided, with some expressing support while others voiced strong opposition. Overall, it was a period marked by intense debate and a flurry of activity across various sectors. The government, media, and general populace all played crucial roles in shaping the national response. In the intricate web of international relations, allies and adversaries play pivotal roles. Nations often find themselves in a delicate balancing act, navigating friendships and rivalries. These relationships can shift rapidly, influenced by economic interests, political ideologies, and historical ties. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for comprehending global events. The implications of these alliances and conflicts are far-reaching. They can affect global trade, security, and even cultural exchanges. Yet, with these implications comes a great deal of uncertainty. The future is often unpredictable, and the actions of one nation can have ripple effects across the globe. This uncertainty can lead to both opportunities and challenges on the world stage. Across the world, discontent manifests in various forms. From peaceful protests to violent uprisings, people express their dissatisfaction with governments, policies, and social conditions. This spectrum of discontent highlights the diverse ways in which societies respond to perceived injustices and the complex factors that drive these movements. We live in a world on edge where tensions run high and stability can be fragile. Geopolitical conflicts, economic disparities, and social unrest contribute to a sense of unease. In this environment, nations and individuals alike must navigate a landscape fraught with challenges and uncertainties, striving for peace and progress amidst the turmoil.